Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. I'm super excited to be here with you today. I'm Kornelia Stephanie, your host. And I have a very special show for you today because periodically I feel to come on and talk about my own spiritual journey and also what is next, that I feel that's next for authentic self-expression and sharing that journey. Because as you know, every Friday, I usually come on here between 12 and 2, and I bring you extraordinary people from around the world that are changing the world, that have solutions to problems that they've overcome, whether it comes to being entrepreneurs or whether it comes to their own spiritual journeys, to healing their life, healing their cancers, overcoming financial problems. So every Friday on the Kornelia Stephanie Show, we have amazing people that are changing the world. And so today I wanted to talk about a topic that's really near and dear to me, and that is self-realization, self-actualization, and authentic sovereign expression. And so if you're listening to this now, and if you're experiencing this in your own life, feel free to call at 1-800-930-2819. Call me up and share with me your journey around the sovereign expression that you're experiencing now. Because there's so many of us now that are really fully ready to be those living models. And we always need models. We have to be able to see what it's like so that we can look at other people and we can learn from our experience, right? And so just the same way that if you're in your journey and you're awakening and you're remembering and you're healing and you're evolving and you're discovering. And so in your community, as you're going through this, people that are looking at you and they're going, wow, you're doing amazing. What are you up to? What's happening to you? How are you doing that? And by you sharing your authentic journey, other people can see, wow, this is great. I can do that too. And that's why we need positive role models and positive examples. I wanted to share a little bit about my own personal journey because trust me, it wasn't always like this. My gosh, it's a miracle, absolute miracle that I am alive today and that I'm here. I call myself a miracle worker. I am a miracle worker. And I really feel like you are too. I really feel that any person that's out there that is working with their own shadow and working with their ego and overcoming the pains from the past is a miracle worker in today's age, because it does require so much love. It requires so much dedication, so much consciousness, so much commitment to be the true you of who you came here to be. And that is your greatest self, your greatest self. You came here to be your greatest self and to live fearlessly. And all of the lifetimes, whether you believe in past lives or not, all of the past lives that we have lived on this planet, we're rewriting the entire history of where we came from. We're beginning a brand new paradigm now, brand new. And that involves so much consciousness, so much willingness. When I was writing up the show notes for today's show, here's what I came up with: that we are totally transported to another planet right here on Earth. We're totally transported to a higher state of mind. We, together, we are rewriting the history from our past. We're embodying a brand new consciousness with no attachment to the past programming, not the way that we were conditioned, the betrayals, the not good enough, the shame, the disease, the survival, the abandonment, the separation from source, from God, or whatever your faith is. Those are not the truth. That's the programming of what we're releasing and letting go of. All those negative limiting beliefs and all those storylines. This is what we are rewriting. 2020, here we are, right? Starting a brand new paradigm. And in my belief system, that right now, what is this, March 8th or March 9th? We are just beginning to celebrate the new year. I believe that the new year begins during the spring equinox. And in January and February and even early part of March, we were still deep, deep, deep in the middle of completing a huge cycle of codependency, a huge cycle of the old matrix of releasing everything that's no longer serving us. And we're moving from this age of the Piscean age of the little lamb. We're moving from this age into the new Aquarian age. And that Aquarian age is all about living beyond our human conditions, living beyond the core wounds. We're living beyond the core wounds. And what are we going to do with this energy? What are we going to do with this level of consciousness? What are we going to do when we own the truth of who we are? Because we are the pioneers of this new consciousness. And what is the new consciousness? This is the beauty, is that through our spiritual awakening, through our awakening to remember that we are and never have been separate from our Creator. And this is why I wanted to make this show today and talk about what does it mean to be self-realized? What does it mean to be self-actualized? What does all of that mean? So that we can really fully have a beautiful conversation and also modeling of what it's like to live in our Christ consciousness. And the Christ consciousness is, we all have it. It's within all of us. And that is to raise our consciousness up into a higher vibrational way of living and being, and realizing that the Savior is within you, that you have everything you need inside of you to be your own champion, to be your own savior, to be your own healer, to be your own guru. You do. And the time of, being a victim and feeling like a victim and feeling like you're lacking something is not the truth of who you are. And now the time, as we're moving into the spring equinox, it's really the beautiful time to choose again and say, yes, I am ready now to step fully into my empowerment. And that's part of what it is that I do as a spiritual teacher. I champion and also mentor and help people to step into their authentic, full empowerment, their authentic, full creative expression, the truth of who they are. So part of, again, doing the show today is so that we can all be seen, all of us, be seen in our sovereign self. And that means that living in unity. Because in the old world, I always talk about it from the old world to the new world, the old human, the new human. And so in the old world, we were living and acting out everything that we're not. In the new world, we're living and acting out everything that we are. And over the past so many cycles, I want to say it's 46,000 years, we have been living everything that we're not. And now it's time to really live beyond the human condition to shape love into more meaningful ways into our relationships so that we can co-create the most benevolent, loving world possible. And that's why it's important for each person to know what things mean to them. What does sovereignty mean? What does freedom mean? What does success mean? What does being in your authority mean? What does all of these things mean? What kind of freedom do you want to live? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? These are the things. And now is the time to really step into having fun. You know, this of what I'm talking about here is not something that is done overnight, because I truly feel that the people that are truly awakening to their own sovereignty, their own gifts, their own realizations, we have been working on this for lifetimes. We've been working on this for a long time. And now is the time to really fully, I'm saying that a lot, now is the time, now is the time, now is the time, because it is. It really truly is the time to be all that we can be. And wouldn't it be more fun to live in a more simple way, to live in a more sovereign way, and to be excited about our passions, to be excited about getting out of bed in the morning, to be in harmony, connected with nature, and being led spontaneously. And so that's why I wanted to do this show today, to share a little bit about my journey of where I am right now in my life and the things that I'm doing. And so my beautiful, wonderful producer, Zach, is with me today. And I just want to say, hi, Zach. Thanks so much for being here.
Of course.
Awesome. Zach, you guys are going to love him because he's got that radio voice. And so this is just so perfect. And of course, you know, he's from Transformation Talk Radio. And here we are. So Zach, what did you do last night? I'll tell you. Tell me first, like, what were you doing last night? What were you up to last night?
Let's see. I went for a jog and then wrote some music, actually.
Did you? Are you writing songs?
Yeah, that's something I've always done that I try to keep up with. It's a passion.
It's a passion. Okay, cool. So you're a songwriter.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing some of those songs if you ever put them out.
Yeah, maybe I'll play one on the air someday.
That would be great. Right. Yeah. So one of the things I was doing last night, it's so fun because I lead a spiritual meetup group. It's every Thursday evening from 7. It's from 7 to 8:30, and the group is supposed to be over at 8:30. And then last night it was 10 o'clock, and you know, usually at 10 o'clock I'm already in bed. Long time. I'm already in bed long time at that time, and maybe even turning over for a few times already by 10 o'clock. But we were having so much fun last night in the group because people are so ready. You know, the women that are showing up now, they're just absolutely extraordinary. And I'm not just talking about women, but this last couple of weeks, it's only been women. But recently, we also had men join the group as well. But I'm just amazed at the people that are showing up right now. Zach, everybody, they're so tired of not feeling good enough. They're so tired of, you know, holding themselves back, of not being focused and not being engaged in their life, not being in charge in their life. They're so tired of feeling, you know, victimized of the past conditioning. And I just find that so many people are really ready now to embrace who they are. And it's fun, the people that are showing up and the women that are showing up, you know, because it is the ladies that are out there that are absolutely making some big, huge, bold changes. And it's really wonderful to see when they are stepping into their full empowerment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I actually made a big move not that long ago to Seattle from Denver, and I wasn't sure at first if it was just Seattle or people in general, but it seems like the openness to connection is stronger than it has been in a long time, at least in my observation.
Yeah, and then you produce a lot of shows with Transformation Talk Radio, so you see a lot of different people that are again on the leading edge of evolution, talking about all these ways that we can heal and that we can expand and that we can evolve. So you see a lot of different things, and it's got to be really exciting on your end to be around so much success.
That's true. Yeah, it wasn't just a big leap of location. It was also sort of a conscious leap.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. I mean, if you think about it, it's like what you're being exposed to every day with all these people. It's like you're living in a living workshop, and it's all free. It's
That's a
all
good way to
free.
look at it.
Like you've got the best of both worlds. So it's like there you are, and you're surrounded by that whole team there at Transformation Talk Radio, Dr. Pat, and all these wonderful people that are hosting the shows and bringing this amazing content to the world. So yeah, I wanted to talk about the whole self-realization, self-actualization piece today, and really share again a little bit of my story. My backstory goes to, I don't think you know this about me, Zach, because you always just see me co-hosting with others, but my story goes way back to I was probably one of the biggest victims that I know, because I hated myself. I was at a place where I had discovered that I had self-hatred at the core. And when I look back at all the way back to my childhood never had me set up to succeed, because I had so much shame and I felt so much shame. I felt so much powerlessness. I felt so much despair from my childhood, and then growing up to overcome all of these things. I'd overcome drug abuse. I was a drug addict. I had overcome sexual abuse. My soul, I came in as a suicidal soul, and I wanted to take my own life many, many times, where I truly feel that there were interventions that took place that the angelic team, the soul team, is that they had to work 24/7 to keep me alive, that I'm here. And so there's so many things that I've overcome, that really, to go from the place of what I'm talking to you about, what I've overcome, and to that I'm now talking about sovereignty, and that I'm talking about self-realization and self-actualization, and all the different things that that I've had to overcome my own personal self. And that's why I want to tell you and tell the audience that there is nothing that we can't overcome. There's nothing we can't overcome. And so it doesn't matter where you find yourself, because every single thing that is coming up into your awareness and into your life right now, every trauma, everything that is up front and center, is asking for your participation to realize what it is that you came here to heal, that you can overcome all of it, and that you can create your best life, going from the old world to the new world. Do you know what I mean, Zach?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I've been piecing your story together 2 hours a week at a time. So it's always fascinating to hear more in detail.
Yeah, yeah. And that's sometimes I forget, I forget that we always have new listeners and new people that tune in, and they don't realize the backstory. But it was back in 2008 when I left the corporate world, and I left there because my soul, I've been listening to my soul talk to me for a long, long time. And I bet that a lot of people can relate to that, that it's that voice that you hear that's talking to you. And when you're really in tune and you can really listen to it, there's amazing dialogue that can happen between your soul, your higher self, or your intuitive self that wants to communicate with you, and even your body when we're listening to our body. So my soul had been talking to me back in the day, asking me, do I want to live like this for the rest of my life, when I was working at a job where I was making really good money, but I had no freedom whatsoever. I was a slave in the hamster wheel and chasing the American dream, working all the time, never having any time freedom whatsoever, and not even really realizing what I'm here to do or anything like that. I didn't even know at that time what my core values were, what matters to me. I didn't even know. And so when the soul asked me this question, that's when I realized, no, I don't want to live like this for the rest of my life. I don't want to live like this. But then that required that I would make huge changes and possibly look at quitting my job. Well, what am I going to do? And so then I thought, well, I always wanted to be a motivational speaker. I always wanted to motivate people and inspire people and empower people, something I've always wanted to do. Well, now is the time to take a leap and quit your job and travel the world and be a motivational speaker. So I strategized all of that out, and then I decided to take the leap, cash in my profit sharing, and get going. And so when I left work, when I left that time period, I ended up taking 2 certification courses, because I realized in my own work, with my own work, that what's really important is that I need to think positive. I need positive thinking, right? I knew I had to have positive thinking. That's really important.
That's a big, bold move. I think a lot of people would be curious to know, because obviously that requires a lot of bravery. Do you feel like the planning for that move manifested the bravery, or did you have to manifest the will to be brave first before you could even get on with the planning?
Oh my God, Zach, that's such a great question. That's such a great question. It's you manifest, you take the bravery first. Okay, I can't remember exactly how you asked that question, but you become brave first.
Gotcha.
Not knowing.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, you become brave first, and then you realize later, oh my God, I was so brave by doing that. And that's really how we develop that muscle. We have to first show up in it by taking the leap, and that's when we discover, wow, we are really brave and we're ready. I mean, just think what that did for my soul. Just think what that did for my what kind of a statement did I make by, hey, I'm willing to live in freedom. I'm willing to travel the world and be a motivational speaker. I'm willing to follow my dream. And I'm willing to put action to making that a reality. And even though I don't have it all figured out, even though I have no idea where this is going to go, but I know one thing, right. If I don't do it, I know where the alternative is going to be, because I see, this is why I said today, we need beautiful models. We need role models, because I saw in my company where I would end up. I would end up like this guy. I would end up like this woman. I would end up like this. I would end up like this. And then, do you want to live like this for the rest of your life? Or are you really willing to be the change you want to see in the world?
Right. Because that path was very clearly laid out.
Exactly. That was exactly. So I knew what the alternative was. No, I don't want this. No way. Because my gosh, I'm going to end up, overweight, sick, worried, all these other things. And I don't want to live like this anymore. So then, I realized after I took that leap that I need to think positive. So I need positive thinking. I knew that that was going to be a huge piece. So I became a certified coach in the law of attraction because I knew that, hey, if I think positive, then I'm going to be able to attract positive things to me. And so I became a coach in the law of attraction. I, got certified there. And then I also thought, well, since I was acting like a slave before, working from like 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night and acting like a slave, like what is it that I don't have? I don't have passion. I don't have passion. I don't know what it's like to go from a slavery mentality to a passionate mentality. And so I said, I have to have passion. I have to feel the passion. So then I became a passion test coach, and I got certified through, a certification program on leading with passion. So now I figured that I had it all. Okay, I've got my plan. I've got my law of attraction certification as a coach. I've got my passion. I'm passionate. I know how to teach passion to people, and now I can do it. So I did that for a while, and that was fine. But then the soul started talking to me again and said, that's not it. That's not it. It's not it. Because you know what I realized? I realized that no matter how much positive thinking I did, and no matter how much passion I had, there was still a part inside of me where I felt like crap. There was still a part inside of me where I felt sad, where I felt disconnected. There was still a part inside of me where I felt shame, where I felt things that it wasn't matching. It wasn't connecting. So here I am thinking positive, think positive, think positive, think positive, but I wasn't feeling it. And so then the Secret came out. The Secret, the movie The Secret.
Oh,
and
right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the movie The Secret came out, and they're all talking about positive thinking. No, if you're thinking positive, you're going to manifest, or you're going to attract abundance and all of these things. But there was a piece missing. There was a piece missing, because what about the feeling? What about feeling good? What about feeling abundant? What about feeling prosperous? But how can you feel abundant? How can you feel prosperous when you have sadness inside, and you have anger inside, and you have so many frustrations and emotions inside that have never before been even looked at? And so I was a little bit pissed off at the Secret people, because I thought, wow, why didn't they talk about it?
This made it sound so easy.
Exactly. They made it seem like so easy. It was a big money maker. Oh, the law of attraction, law of attraction. And that's when I realized, oh, okay, because the soul started talking to me again and said, I want my own work. I want my own work. I want to talk about what I know. And so it's almost like a prayer that the living prayer that was coming out of me, that I want to talk about my own work. I want to talk about my own journey. And so then I became more and dove deeper into being a mystical teacher and a mystical experiencer. And pretty much that's when I started going into, okay, what is the core feelings of the sadness all about? What is the emotions about? What is all of this? And that's when I went into the deep, deep core wounding of the emotional core wounding of our past. And the emotional core wounding of our past, Zach, I discovered it started all the way from feeling betrayal, to feeling abandonment, to feeling not good enough, not worthy, to feeling like a victim, to feeling separation from source, to feeling shame, and feeling so scared of surviving, of really moving beyond survival. And those were the feelings that were deep inside of me, that I discovered the emotions that had root causes, and that needed to be handled, and they needed to be dealt with. Well, because the soul had said, I want to learn my own process, I want to learn my own. And then I developed this healing modality, and that is being able to heal from these wounds. And transcend those wounds through my physical body, and then move into the opposite of them, because we live on a planet of duality. So there's opposites, right? So the opposite of betrayal is trust. And if you think about this, and if you think about how long has this betrayal wound been active on this planet? I mean, you
Right.
could, how long? How long has it been active? It's been active for a long time. And remember, when we opened the show today, I talked about we're moving beyond the human conditioning. So we're moving beyond the human conditioning. So no more betrayal. The opposite of betrayal is trust. And the trust, you have to be the one, each person has to be the one to be the bringer of the trust. Not happening outside of you. It's not that somebody's going to do something for you, not that somebody's going to come and save you. You have to trust your own inner being. And so if we once acted out betrayals so that we can have an experience, and then if the betrayal wound is active in your energy field, and then you are attracting, magnetizing experiences to you, so you can then tell the story. You betrayed me. That person betrayed me. This betrayed me. God betrayed me. Life betrayed me. My body betrayed me.
Like projecting.
Exactly. Right? So, and what's the opposite of betrayal is trust. So first we have to get to the root core and clear that betrayal wound out of the body so that it doesn't exist anymore. And what do we put in its place? Trust. So that this construct now, this body construct, because everything is a program, it's all programming in the mental body. So now the emotional body is coming from a place of pure trust. The mental body is in alignment with that, trusting. I want to trust. It's me. No matter what the world does, I'm going to bring trust. And so there's that. And then the spiritual body, the spiritual wisdom, that is the realization of the source.
Right.
God is, can you imagine God betraying him or herself? No.
No, that would be whatever, opposite of the definition of God.
Exactly. So that's why if you look at what is betrayal and keep it in that old world conditioning, you might as well even say it's, what did they say back in the day? They would call it Satan, they would call it the devil,
Right.
whatever they would call it. But if we're talking about a self-realized individual, a person that is fully awake to the truth of who they are, and they know that in the image and the likeness, there is no separation whatsoever. So they're making choices continuously. That person is continuously making choices based on trust. And that's it. And so that's the reality. That's the new paradigm. That's the new world that's being created. But again, it takes work because it's not something that is done overnight.
Absolutely.
But that's why, Zach, I wanted to, do this show today, because I want to tell people that this is where we're going. Excuse me. And that we have so much to look forward to be living in our true authentic expression. Now imagine, like what you're doing, you're going to write a song, and who knows what your life is going to be unfolding. But I know that this time period that you're there with Transformation Talk Radio, everything is supporting you so that you can really fully step into your greatest self and live your best life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely much more evident at this point in my life. There were a few years where it didn't seem like this transformation was going to happen, so I'm very grateful that it finally is.
It is, yeah, it is, and it's wonderful to have that gratitude, because again, the gratitude is going to bring in more things to be grateful for. So it's a wonderful thing, and I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the work that you do, for all of us, and specifically the work that you do here with this show.
Oh,
and I just want to let the audience know, too, that we're getting ready to do another show here at 1:00 with Diane Solano, who is the energy entrepreneur. And Diane is a young mom, and she has a son. I think he's less than, he's probably not even 7 years old. But Diane went from being broke to generating $5 million in the company that she works with, Organo. We're going to talk about that today, how she became the success and how you can too. And what I'm talking to you about here today, about how we can go from a place of separation, from a place of betrayal, abandonment, not good enough, separation from source, to a place of living in our authentic expression, as you're seeing me today, because this is my true authentic expression. I'm speaking from my own personal experience, my own personal story. And I talked about this before, where, you know, the things that I've had to overcome were pretty devastating. But everything, you know, like you just said, Zach, you're so grateful for where you are now. And that's how I feel too. I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful I had the things that I had to overcome, those horrifying experiences that I had to overcome in order to heal from them. And I want to let the audience know, for those that don't know, you know, part of my soul's work was also to write a book. And the book, you can get this book, and it's on Amazon. It's called Peace, the Flip Side to Anger: How I Used My Emotions. Okay. And I talk about the core wounding in the book, how I used my emotions to heal my life and my body, and how you can too. And this really is a wonderful book, because it's got fear processing exercises in there and just wonderful tools to support you. Because a lot of times what it is that people just need to listen to somebody else's story about how they overcame something, and they're going, I can do that too. Yes. I can do that too, right?
Absolutely.
You know, I can do that too. And so, you know, I told a story a while back about, I had 2 huge cysts on my ovaries, and this was back in 2011. And the doctor told me they wanted to give me a complete hysterectomy. And they also told me that I'm a candidate for endometrial cancer. And I came home and I called a girlfriend, and I told my girlfriend about what the doctor said. And she said, I had already started doing this work. I was already coaching, supporting, helping, empowering. And she said to me, well, Kornelia, it looks like it's time for you to really walk your talk. And I thought, well, that's true. It is time for me to really walk my talk, which means, because I'm talking to people about emotions and beliefs and what happens when we keep the suppression in our physical body, and how it causes disease, and that we can heal our lives and that we can heal our bodies. And here I then found myself with this illness, and I did not want to have a hysterectomy, and I did not want to sign up for endometrial cancer. I didn't want to sign up for that conditioning and that belief. So I called the doctor up and I canceled my appointment with cancer. I don't want cancer. I don't need that experience in order to learn how to nurture myself or listen to my physical body, that there's something, because cancer, any kind of cancer, and this is not to put anything bad on anyone, but any kind of cancer is a form of self-rejection. And that is a way, again, it's an opportunity to bring that part of you that has once been rejected into harmony, neutrality, and love. And that is a really big piece. So I decided to heal those cysts and look at the emotional suppression, what it was. And imagine cysts in my stomach, growing in my stomach, and there were the 2 big oranges on each of my ovaries, and they're that big, and they're boils, and those boils are so angry, deposited full of anger and rage, because I had no outlet for my creative expression, my ideas, my philosophy, my belief in life. I had no outlet, and that was back in 2011. And so then I got a blog, and I started writing, and I started creating, and I got a healer, and I had somebody help me, do energy work. And I started getting into, like, what is the emotional suppression behind all of it? And I changed my diet, and I never had an issue since. And so then it just started going deeper and deeper and deeper into my work, which is the reason why I want to offer everyone today. Right now, I'm doing personal sessions by donation. And my sessions are about repatterning. They're about purification, repatterning, and empowerment. So basically, when you get together with me, you're going to be, whatever the issues seem to be, because everybody's in a different place. Whatever the issues are, we can clear it completely out, and then you have a clean slate to begin again. And I just want to tell you, and Zach, you're going to share with us some of the testimonials that some of the people have shared with me this week when I opened this up for donations. Because my sessions, if you went to my website at corneliastephanie.com, you would see my personal sessions are $144 per hour. Now, I know that not everybody can afford that, especially not in this day and time. So Spirit, my soul, my higher self asked me to open these up, these personal sessions by donation. And I want you to be able to have that available to you. So you can text me at the number at 360-941-5783 to schedule your personal session. But I want to tell you about some of the things that these sessions are about. So just the other day, somebody asked me to talk about that. And I said, I receive consistent requests from women. Some of the women are the same ones, and then there's other ones that consistently say, hey, Kornelia, can I have an appointment? Will you help me process? Will you help me sort through abuse that's up in my life right now? Will you help me around my sexuality and my womb? Or, hey, Kay, can we meet for an appointment? I just filed for divorce. Or, hey, I'm getting ready to leave this job and to apply for a new one. Will you help me close this out properly so I don't take that shit to the next place? Or, hey, Kay, my self-worthlessness issues are up again. Can you help me? So I get these requests all the time. And that's when I said, I need to open this up to the public by donation. And so I'm generously offering this to you. Anyone that's listening to this, doesn't matter what the issue is, doesn't matter, because we're coming from a place of self-realization, the truth of who you are. And there's nothing greater than being witnessed and being facilitated by someone that has already done this work and that holds no judgment and that helps you get to the root core to clear it out so that you can move on and create from yourself. Now, Zach, you're going to share, why don't you share some of, I posted this on my Facebook page this week, and some of the ladies actually wrote in and shared some testimonials. Would you mind sharing some of those, Zach?
Absolutely. Jump
Awesome.
over to the Facebook page here.
Sure, yeah.
Let's see. There's a few.
Yeah.
See, Anne Yuxel. Sorry, Anne, if I messed up your name. Says, our session really helped me integrate some of the epiphanies I've had over the last few weeks. My life has taken some dramatic but positive turns lately, and the wisdom and insights you've shared confirm that I am on the correct path of unconditional love. It was extremely important for me to receive spiritual confirmation that my recent decisions played a part in breaking ancestral strongholds, and you aided me in realizing just how true that is. I feel like I am now ready to step into my light and love.
That's so great, Zach. Yeah, I want to say something about that. She said something in there about the Christ consciousness. She said, and the Christ consciousness is unconditional love. And ladies and gentlemen, we have to come as a self-actualized being, as a self-realized being, as a sovereign being. We have to come from that Christ consciousness of unconditional love. First, towards yourself. You have to love yourself unconditional, no judgment, no shame, none of this negative self-talk, none of these things. You have to come from that place. And when you come from the place, the same way that the Christ consciousness, the same way that source, God loves you, you have to be able to love yourself in that same way. And that's the energy that I hold in our sessions, that I am, because this is what I do. So thank you for sharing that one. Now, is there another one?
Yeah, there's several.
Okay.
See, another one from Latrice Love writes, I've had the pleasure to work with Cornelia during our 101 mentoring sessions for about 8 months, and the results have been nothing short of phenomenal. Cornelia has an amazing gift of cultivating joy, hope, inspiration, and holding space and sitting with folks while they are in the eye of the storms of change. I've completed the Keeper of the Garden course and was able to gain greater focus and clarity. I also manifested a job making 20 grand more than I was making in a matter of 2 weeks. I continued to have huge breakthroughs as I worked with her. I've learned and grown so much in the short time we have been connected in this way, and I've had so much healing. She pours so much love into each interaction. In each interaction, I leave feeling full and my spirit renewed. I highly recommend her gifts and services. She is the person you want on your team, encouraging you to face deep fears, embrace truth and divine healing, and the beauty of crafting your new reality and shifting paradigms.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's so beautiful. I'm so honored and feel so blessed to be able to facilitate this for people and that they have these experiences. It could make me cry right now. It really could make me cry because that's what it is. That's my mission, is to empower all into their authentic sovereign expression. And that's my vested interest, to see that everyone that I come in contact with, that I have the ability to influence, that they can go ahead and be in their sovereign self, so that they can ripple that energy out, because it's all for service to each other. It's all for the planet. It's all for our own collective healing, and it's all part of our evolution. So that's my motivation. That's my interest, and I'm so grateful for people that are ready to step into that level of work. And so, do you have somebody else, Zach?
Yeah, we got one from, uh, well, this is posted on behalf of Nora Skeel.
Okay, wait, one more thing I want to say to everybody. How much time do we have before we have to close the show, Zach?
Oh, sure. That's my job to keep track of that. Um, Sorry, doing math. About 6 minutes.
Okay, good. So then that gives us a couple. Because one of the things I want to say, because Latrice Love, she mentioned she did the 21-day challenge, the Keeper of the Garden. And that 21-day challenge is $21. Go to CorneliaStephanie.com and look at the 21-day challenge tab on the top. Go get that. It's $21, 21 days. And every day you are guided to release all the old world out of your body, so that you can come from a place of I am worthy, I am love, I am confident, I am whole, for 21 days, and no negative self-talk for 21 days. And that is a very powerful tool that you can use if you don't want to do a personal one-on-one session. But personal one-on-one sessions, in addition to the 21-day keeper challenge, will really support you. So who else do you have, Zach?
So, Ashley Hotzenpiller writes on behalf of Nora Skeel. I've had 3 sessions with Cornelia. Yesterday, I did a donation-based session. We drove into my anger around the injustice in the world towards minorities and the feminine. She gave me a really healthy way to release that anger because, as she said so poignantly, under anger, there is a truth waiting to be claimed that hasn't before seen the light of day. Because we've suppressed it, this time, instead of suppressing it, I thought to call Cornelia to get support to transform it and use it for my personal growth and empowerment. We explored my anger, expressed it to find out where it came from, what the deeper feelings were behind it, how to navigate them in the future, and how to clear my voice to speak up for myself and others. I already feel more clear and emotionally stable, grounded, and so happy that I reached out. Thank you again, Cornelia, for being there for me so fully in a hard time.
Again, that just warms my heart to know that Nora's over there now, and that she's standing in her power, and that she's speaking her voice, and that she is not suppressing. She's empowering young women. She's empowering young women. She's a role model, and that makes me feel so good to have been part of that. And that she reaches out. Now, these women, they contact me periodically over time, or some of them have mentored with me for a little bit longer time. Do you have anybody else, Zach?
We have one more on this Facebook thread. Wendy Welton writes, I've been working with Cornelia for over a year. Every time we connect, it's like a huge energetic shift takes place. I'm so grateful for the growth. Cornelia holds space with compassion and love as she supports your journey. Highly intuitive, as she always seems to know exactly what is needed. I leave each meeting ready to take the next leap. In addition, if you haven't taken her course, Keeper of the Garden, you are missing out. Great gift to yourself.
Everybody loves the 21-day challenge, you guys. Everybody loves that because you do it in the privacy of your own home, 10 minutes a day, and you start clearing your chakras. The first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chakra, and you rewrite the story all in a matter of 10 days. I mean, 10 minutes a day, 21 days. And that's one way. And again, I'm so honored. I'm so honored that these women trust me to support them. And this is my gift to be able to give back. You know, it's the things that we learn in life that have caused us the most suffering, the most pain. And, you know, when we come to a place of radical self-love, radical nurturing, unconditional self-love, our sovereign creative expression, true empowerment, and that means knowing what you stand for, being willing to step up for it, and being the true, authentic expression of the truth of who you are. That's our evolution. That's where we're going. I want to say this last thing, and that is, what are we going to do with our energy? And I've said this many times. What are we going to do with our energy when we don't have to heal from these core woundings anymore? And we can really focus on what's next for planet Earth. What's next? What are we going to be doing? Because I tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen, we have huge issues with our food. We need solutions for our food. There's a lot of things around our food and nourishment that we need to address and take a look at, lots of different things. So get that healing out of the way so that we can really fully get on board and allow that creative expression that is in you, that is ready to shine, to really come forth. Zach, how much time do we have?
We have 2 minutes.
Okay, good. We're doing good. Hey, did you have fun doing this today with me?
I did. Thank you for inviting me on.
That was so cool. That was just like the other day. I thought, you know, I think I'm just going to ask Zach to come on because I didn't have a guest today and I just wanted to have this beautiful discussion and to share it. And I just want to thank you so much for being such a good sport about it and asking the wonderful questions that you did.
Oh, of course. Well, thank you.
Yeah. So everybody, I want you all to come. I want you all to come with us to the next show. We're getting ready to close this one out, and then we're going to join Diane Solano, and that is the energy entrepreneur on the Lady Boss episode today. Contact me for your personal session. Do it now. 360-941-5783 or email me, radio@korneliastephanie.com. Thank you so much, beloved you, for joining us. And thanks, Zach, for being with me today. Have a great day.